Okay, so I actually just had a memory come back from when I was living in Vancouver on the streets that I totally forgot about. It was the 7th of September, and I was hanging out with my ex, and I talked about this before. We ended up doing Ollie with an M, and for the first half of the day, or the night, I remember being with my ex. But at some point, I switched and I became another person. Like, I left my body and I had a completely different life. I had a house. I was a man. I was gay. Um, and I remember I had a letter that came to me, and I was trying. It had something like about like um, my mailbox was confusing me. I like my address and like trying to get this letter sent out. But I was a different person. Like, it wasn't just the substances. Like, I had clearly became another individual, and like it was a very long period of time. Like, it wasn't just like uh it wasn't just like minutes or flashes. I was this person for an entire lifetime. And when I came to was literally only like an hour later. And my partner was like, "You're talking like you're somebody else. You keep talking to somebody who's not there." And yeah, I remember my childhood. I remember my partner. I remember my house. I lived in Ontario. I don't remember my name, but I remember, like, I was talking, like, yes, like, oh my God. And it was just so wild. Like, in this, it's kind of like I was reading this story, the Reddit story about the lamp, the inverted lamp, and all of a fucking sudden, it gave me a flashback to when I had that experience on the beach. I was on Crab Park. Excuse me. I was on Crab Park, like Crab Beach, in Crab Park, and I spent the night there. It was getting cold, and my partner and I had done Ollie with an M. And for the like I said, the first part of the night, I remember specifically, and then I had another life, and in like a half an hour to 45-minute period, and it was like an entire life. Like, I was a gay man. I remember coming out to my parents. I remember my house, and the thing that brought me back to reality was a letter that frustrated me, and I could not figure out how to put it into the mailbox. Like, it was just like my address was frustrating me because I couldn't remember my address all of a sudden as I was trying to deal with this letter. I don't know. And then I came back to my life, and I was myself on the fucking um beach with my partner. And he was like, "You literally for 45 minutes were completely gone. And I don't know who you were or what I was like. You just were not talking to me. Like, you weren't here." So yeah, that's like I talk about just the physics of life and like time and space time and how everything is happening all at once. I think maybe what happened is I jumped and I experienced because it was an entire lifetime. I'm talking about like a 50-year period. I went and I lived an entire 50-year period in like a 30-minute times, like 45 minutes tops, maybe an hour. But I lived an entire. And the one time there was this episode of Adventure Time where Finn goes into this pillow fort and he comes out and he lives this life on the with the pillow princess. I know like what it sounds like, but and he has kids and he dies. I didn't die. I came to when I was 50, so maybe I died. Maybe I had a heart attack or something like that in that life, but that's what happened. And I just came to, and I was back in my body and I was a woman again. And I had completely forgotten about that experience until just now when I read the Reddit story about the lamp, and it just came back to me. And I'm sharing that experience with you. I don't know what happened. Maybe what happened on a quantum level, I had passed away, quantum immortality, the wires got crossed, I went and I lived another life, and they're like, hey, we're going to do a hard reset, we're going to bring you back to your life as this woman, me, Lily, and it's going to seem like nothing happened, but I remember it. So it was crazy. I had a fucking accent and everything. It was wild.